Alright, is there anyone who wants to just volunteer to tell me what they did from here? You felt good doing it and you're like, hey, I'll help you. Everyone's avoiding eye contact. Alright, well let's just pick it up from here, okay? So, we decided the p minus 3 needs a p, and the 3 needs a p minus 3. Let's see if your work matches what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to, I have the 3 times a p plus 6 over 3 times p minus 3. We're adding that with 6 multiplied with p minus 3 over 3 times p minus 3. So guys, do we have a common denominator? Yes, so what does that allow us to do? Combine the numerators, but I have to distribute 2. So I get 3p plus 18 plus 6p minus 18 over 3 times p minus 3. In the numerator, we can combine the 3p and the 6p, and then we can also combine the 18 and the negative 18. So guys, what's 3p plus 6p? 9p. What's 18 minus 18? 0. So I get 9p over 3 times p minus 3. How many of you are able to get it to that point? Nice job. If not, I hope you see your mistake. Do you have any questions? Am I done? No. What's 9p? 9 divided by 3. So I can actually reduce this by 3. So this is 3p over p minus 3. That is your simplified answer. So always check if you can keep going. All right, nice job. I hope you feel okay with that. Let's go down. We've got 2 more problems. Okay, now, let's look at 7. What is the 5 going to need? What is a 2r squared minus 2 going to need? Well, the 5, what is it jealous of? 2r squared minus 2, right? So it's going to need the 2r squared minus 2. And what is a 5? What is a 2r squared minus 2 going to need? A 5. Now, technically, let me take a second here. I'm going to tell you that you always want to factor the denominator first. Well, if I factor out a 2 from the r squared minus 2, I get 2r squared minus 1. And I can actually factor the 2r squared minus 1 to be r plus 1, r minus 1. But the problem is, guys, does that cancel with anything in the numerator? The answer is no. So it's good to factor to see if it cancels. But it doesn't. My next step is I'm going to multiply that by some other stuff. And when I multiply it, I don't want it to be in factored form because then it's just even more multiplying. I want to keep it in standard form like that. So if any of you are like, why didn't you factor? That's why. We're going to see the same thing on it. All right, so let's go ahead and let's write this out. So what I have here is I have 2r squared minus 2 multiplying with 4r plus 1. And that's over 2r squared minus 2 times 5. We're adding that with r minus 4 times 5 over that same common denominator. Okay, now can I show you another common mistake? I like to show you mistakes people do, because then hopefully you don't make that same mistake. Sometimes people get to this point and they're like, wait, I'm going to cancel that out and I'm going to cancel that out. Yes. Well, what did you just do? If I cross out the 2r squared minus 2 and cross out the 5, you just took it right back to the very beginning. You just undid what you did. So don't do that, okay? But people do it. The point is, the reason why you did that is that why we multiplied by the 2r squared minus 2 and the 5 is because now we have a common denominator, right? That's what we want. So what can we do with the numerators? We can combine them. But to do that here, I have a binomial times a binomial, so I'm going to have to lobster plot. Let's see what happens when we lobster plot. 2r squared times 4r squared, that's going to be 8r to the third. 2r squared times 1, that's 2r squared. Negative 2 times 4r is negative 8r. over on the other fraction, we are distributing a 5, so I get 5r minus 20. All right, okay, let's send this to Melissa. What are my like terms in the numerator? What can I still combine?
Negative 8r and 5r.
Awesome,
And
what else?
Negative 20.
Perfect. So I'm going to write this out. This is 8r to the third plus 2r squared. Okay, negative 8r plus 5r, that's minus 3r. Negative 2 minus 20 is negative 22. Now, before I circled that, I just checked. Is there a greatest common factor in here? The 3 makes it odd, so I can't take out a 2. There's not an r in all of them. I guess you could try to group there, but you'll learn really quickly it doesn't work out, so that's our fine lines. Okay, how are you guys feeling so far? Do you feel like you're catching on to the steps here? We're going to do just one more together, okay? Last one. But before we do it, I want you to just look at number 8 and see, is there anything we could do to simplify this before we get started? Just take 5 seconds and look at it. What do you guys see? Is there anything we can do? I'll give you a clue. There is something that's really easy that would make this life just a little bit easier. Yeah. Well, let's factor. That's a good idea. I'm going to factor on this sideboard real quick, and this is going to be a split and group problem. So I'm going to do it kind of fast, okay? 2n squared minus 11n plus 5. To do this, I'm going to multiply a by c, the first by the last, and say I need two numbers that multiply to 10 and add to negative 11. That's going to be negative 10 and negative 1. So I'm going to split this up as 2n squared minus 10n minus n plus 5. Greatest common factor here is 2n leaves behind n minus 5. Greatest common factor there is negative 1 leaves behind n minus 5. If I factor out the n minus 5, I'm left with 2n minus 1. Does factoring the denominator cancel anything in the numerator? Sorry, you did not need to write that all down, so don't copy that. This is just me factoring. But it didn't cancel anything in the numerator, so should I rewrite it in factored form? No. Just kind of like that one. We could have factored it, but since it didn't simplify, leave it. Guys, what I was trying to get you to see is watch this. N over n is 1, right? Can we just do that? Is that okay? Sure, it was n over n. Okay, now, looking at this. What is the 2n squared minus 11n plus 5? What does it need? It needs a 3. What does the 3 need? That whole other thing, the 2n squared minus 11n plus 5. Okay, so now, I'm going to rewrite this just like what we've been doing on all of these. Just a lot of writing, I'm sorry. All right. So Brian, when I get it to this point, do I have a common denominator? Nice. So, I know it was a lot of writing, but now we have a common denominator, so what do we do next? We're going to rewrite it as one big fraction. Now, you have to be kind of careful. I'm actually going to rewrite something, so sorry if you don't have to I'm going to put the 3 right here, because when I'm distributing, I need to make sure I distribute a negative 3. Okay, it's not just 3, it's a negative 3. And here I'm distributing a positive 3. So let's distribute that, so I get 4n squared minus 22n plus 10. That's for the first numerator. And with the second one, we're going to distribute the negative 3, so we get negative 15n minus 18. All right, so let's send this one to Jade. What are the like terms I can still combine here, Jade? Alright, so we're going to write that out. So the 4n squared goes first. Negative 22 minus 15, that's negative 37n. And 10 minus 18, that's negative 8. Now I want to check to see if there's anything I can do here. 4 and 8 have a common factor, but 37 is prime, so there's nothing I can do to simplify, so I'm just going to go like that. And that is how you add and subtract rational expressions.